Hi there, this is Solitary from Solitary Films, and welcome to another episode of One Director, Four Films. Today's subject is the wonderful David Lynch, who is one of those directors that actually hasn't made that many films. Obviously, he's made seminal TV work, but we're not counting the TV work in this. So again, if you're new to this series, it's pick one fundamental film, the film that sums up David Lynch, the film that if you were showing somebody who's never seen a David Lynch film before, a David Lynch film, which one would it be? And then your favourite, obviously with films that changes week to week, but generally just a favourite. The underrated or underseen gem, again with David Lynch, there's not that many that are underseen. And then the flounder, the film that doesn't quite work for you, doesn't quite resonate with you, or the one that you just like a little bit less than all the other ones. So for me, the fundamental David Lynch film, for me there's only one choice, but again, I'm always keen to see your comments and your choices, because that's the whole point of this series, nothing to do with me. But for me, it's the film that essentially saved his career, Blue Velvet. It has all the obsessions, all the quirks, all the darkness, all the light, the wonderful score, the beginnings of Angelo Badalamenti's relationship, even though they may have worked before, I'm not actually sure. From 1986, it's hard to believe this will soon be 40 years old. Still transgressive, still difficult to watch in places, still challenging. There's, take the video nasties for example, there's lots of video nasties that you watch them now and they're quite tame. Watching Blue Velvet, it's still quite difficult to watch in places. And as cliched as it might be for this pick, I think this is his fundamental film after his disappointment with June. The favourite, again, this changes all over the place, but for the purposes of this exercise, so I'm not picking the same film twice, I'm going to go with Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Again, the TV stuff doesn't count and for the purposes of this series, but Fire Walk with Me, which I did actually see in a cinema when I used to go to the cinema, all the way back in 1992. This was fun for the people who liked the TV show, didn't watch any other David Lynch films, didn't really know who David Lynch was, but liked the TV show apart from the dark scary bits, liked the soap opera elements, and then they all went to the cinema to see this, and it scared the bejesus out of them. This has some of his darkest, scariest moments. It also has his funniest moments, his most moving moments almost. It's just pretty wonderful. Chris Isaac's finest performance, and just a strange, odd masterpiece. It's funny, Blue Velvet pretty much resurrected or saved his career, and for a while Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me almost ended his career because lots of critics absolutely hated it, but I think they were wrong. So that's the fundamental and the favourite. Again, does he have any underseen films? Probably not, but certainly a little gem is The Straight Story, which on initial kind of rumours of he was making a story about an old man who goes cross country on a lawnmower to meet his brother to settle a beef before they both die, sounded not like a David Lynch film. It was actually written by his editor Mary Sweeney, based on a true story of Alvin Straight. But this is totally a David Lynch film. The way it's shot, he still brings that oddness and stillness. It has plenty of rural, little town America, a great performance by Richard Farnsworth. I know Oscars aren't a big deal really, but how he didn't get an Oscar for this performance is a disgrace. It's right up there with Jack Lemmon not getting an Oscar for Glengarry Glen Ross. And of course Richard Farnsworth would kill himself not that long after this. It's just absolutely wonderful. A really beautiful Angelo Badalamenti score, which really is more rustic and rural, less kind of sweeping and orchestral like some of his other work for Lynch. Harry Dean Stanton, who's only in it for like 2 minutes, gives one of the best performances of his career. Sissy Spacek is absolutely wonderful as Alvin's daughter. A wonderful group of interesting and colourful faces he meets across country on his trek. And if you don't weep like a small child in the scene in the bar with Alvin and an older gentleman that he meets when they talk about World War II, you're probably a psychopath. And for my flounder, I know the easy pick would probably be Dune. I mean, you could argue, is that really a David Lynch film or not? But it does have Lynchisms. But for me, I'm going to go with Inland Empire. It's the film that I haven't seen as much of. I think I've only seen it maybe twice. I do need to rewatch it, so if I was doing this at a later point, this might not be my flounder, it might be Dune. But I'm going to go with this one. There is a rumour that there's going to be a 4K of this, or an upgraded print of this. Again, this is his last theatrical feature. Obviously he did Twin Peaks The Return, which was amongst the best stuff he's ever done. But yeah, I've picked Inland Empire just because I've seen it the least. So thanks very much for watching, but again, this series is about you and your choices, because I'm always fascinated to hear your opinions. So again, your fundamental David Lynch film that sums up his career or sums up his themes. Your favourite, an underseen gem or an underrated gem, and the film that doesn't quite land with you. So thanks very much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.